Hello and welcome to the next installment in our restoration series. And this is going to be a series on the pipe you see in front of you. This is a billiard, obviously. It's a nice looking billiard. And it is a pipe that I am not at all familiar with, a brand that I am not at all familiar with, and I have been unable to find really any information on this. So what the pipe is stamped in two places, and it's stamped with Mr. Roberts, imported briar. And those are the only markings on this pipe. On the other side, it just has imported briar stamped. See if I can get that to focus for you. Yeah, right down at the bottom there, just imported briar. So the only markings are Mr. Roberts, imported briar. There's no markings on the stem that I could find. And that's all I know about this pipe. I've been unable to find any information on Mr. Roberts. I don't know if that's a brand, a second from brand. It might be the name of the owner, or the carver for that matter. I just don't know. But it's not a bad little billiard. It needs some work. Obviously, we're going to need to do some reaming. Not terrible, but it does need to be reamed. Beyond that, it needs a good cleaning. And the grain, well, while the grain is not classically beautiful, it does have some interesting grain to it. You know, some sort of wild side grain there. Bit of bird's eye coming up here and there. Nothing overly stunning, but nothing that I think we have to hide. One of the things that worries me is that there are a few large dings, so we're going to have to top it, and therefore we're going to have to probably sand the whole pipe and stain it. There are some spots here that are either very large fills, like this guy right here. There's a few mixed in, like right in here. But the ones on the shank are a little worrisome because there's another one that might be a large fill. When I look at these, they're actually a very different texture, and it feels almost as if, and I know this isn't the case because it just wouldn't make sense, but it feels almost as if this was a paint or something that was applied and then had scratched off. So I'm real interested to get underneath the finish on this and see what is going on there. The stem is in fairly good shape. I mean, it's oxidized. It's got a few tiny little tooth marks. There's one large ding on the button there. That's not going to be a problem because it's a molded stem, and it still has some of the molding lines as we get up towards the button here. So I'm going to need to do some reshaping on this anyway. So a lot of that tooth chatter and oxidation will be gone. If you look from the side here, the shape is it's a bit of a bump here. I like this to continue a bit more smoothly, and then I like it to taper down from this point onward. It looks like that's pretty much where they stopped shaping it. Also looks like that's where most of the oxidation is occurring. So we'll thin this out a bit here, sort of make that transition more smooth, and then we'll reshape the button to something that's hopefully a bit more comfortable, a bit less chunky, and get rid of those few tooth marks. So this will probably require an OxiClean bath and then all the stuff you've seen before. It's a screw-in tenon system, which I don't think I've shown you before, but it's pretty common in some of these older pipes with stingers. Now, in this case, the tenon is actually integral to the stinger. So this whole thing is a bit of metal that's been glued into the to a mortise in the ebonite. And on this side, we've got a metal mortise that accepts the screw and that's been glued into the briar. So I'll have to clean that up, obviously, and get this nice and clean. Now, the one problem with this pipe, which is not a big deal, but something you have not seen me deal with before, is that when the tenon's fully tightened into the mortise, when you screw that in tight, the bit is actually canting off at a bit of an angle here. And I don't know if you can see that, but if you look at the button relative to the top of the bowl, you can see there's an angle. And what we'd really like is for that to line up more like, well, more like that, I suppose. It's a little bit hard to do on the fly, but you get the idea. We want the button to be parallel to the top of the bowl. Now, to fix that, it seems difficult, but it's actually not. We'll just have to heat this up, and we can do one of two things. We can either rotate the stinger in this case we can, because it's integral to the to the stem. So we can rotate this a bit, or we can rotate the mortise a bit, in both cases by heating them, which will loosen the adhesive and allow us to turn them to the right position. Now, since in this case to do it properly by loosening the mortise, we would have to make a full rotation of this, and I'd rather not do that because it's going to impact on the adhesive qualities. I'd rather heat this up, move the stinger back a bit in a counterclockwise, well actually it'll be clockwise from this way, but basically bring this back to the point where it is sitting more like that, and then I can heat it up again, screw it in place, and rotate this until it lines up perfectly, and then let it cool. So not a difficult job. I'll show you how I do that because I haven't done it before, and we'll do it simply by using a heat gun and some pliers. And that's about it. So a lot of cleanup work, some reaming, restaining the bowl, figuring out what's underneath this finish, seeing what we need to do in terms of fills, and at that point, putting her back together, finishing her, and sending her out. So, shouldn't be a very long video series. I'm thinking maybe 2 additional videos. I'd like to do some detail on how I'm going to adjust that stinger mechanism and show you how I'll get it to line up. But beyond that, it's nothing you haven't seen before. So I'll show you the completed steps. So we can look forward to tying this up pretty quickly. Another 1 or 2 videos and we should be done. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so you can follow the rest of this series over the next couple of weeks. And please feel free to like, comment. I really appreciate the comments. And especially if you know anything about Mr. Roberts, have encountered Mr. Roberts pipes, or for that matter have encountered Mr. Roberts, I'd love to hear more. I really like the history of pipes, and I would like to know as much as I can about this guy, but unfortunately I'm coming up empty-handed on it. So with that, I will say that I'll look forward to talking to you all again real soon, and you all take care, and until next time, goodbye for now.